My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws, and this is our fifth class for Back to Basics. And the first one we looked at how to draw the cube. Then we went to how to draw a sphere, and then we drew how to draw a cylinder. And then last week we did a wedge, and we finished drawing the wedge on how to draw. I started to talk about drawing staircases, and we're going to finish that staircase up on our next class and our last class. But today I want to talk about pyramids and cones, and if we have time, we're going to talk about combining shapes, combining volumes. If we don't make the combining volumes this class, then we'll do it on our next one. And add the stairs as well to that one. So anyways, I'm glad you're here with me. Let's go ahead and get on this. Hey Sharon, good morning. Thanks for getting up with me early. Here's to you. So let's jump into this. So let's start off with the pyramid. Of course, as soon as I say pyramid, we automatically think of pyramids from Egypt, and the base of a pyramid starts off similar to a cube, but instead of the corners going vertical, they all converge on a single point. So let's take a look at that together. So with our pyramid here, we're going to start off with drawing our 4 points. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'll do that. We'll do it slowly together here. I wanted to show you how to draw the points on that pyramid there. So let's put a point down here first, and then we'll put one right over there. And then we're going to have one coming right about in that direction. Okay, so let's pause for a minute right here. Let's pause for a minute. And let's draw just this imaginary line that's going to go off in this direction. And I don't think I'm on the right brush here. There you go. All right, so we have that. Now, from this point here, we'll call this A. This is not going to go parallel. This is going to converge a little bit, okay? Because that's how we draw things that are in perspective. So you could see how this converge. This is going in this direction, and these two lines are going to match up at some point in the distant future. All right, let's come down here. We'll call this B. And then we've got this direction. If I can connect those two this early in the morning. And then this one over here, now this is also going to converge at some point. So we do not want to make this parallel. We don't want this and this one to be parallel. We want them to have a slight taper to them, okay? So where they cross over, this is going to be your far end point in the background there. All right, let's go ahead, and if you remember from, I think the first week we may have done this, where if you take any type of square or any type of square, you could find the center point just simply by connecting the two corners, and so that's going to be the center point. Well, let's find the center point of this square on the ground here by connecting those 2 points and those 2 points. And we'll call this center one C. So from C, I'm going to go straight up. I'm going to draw a vertical. Now the next point is up to you. So if you were to put the point up high, that's going to make a very steep pyramid. If you keep your point low, that's going to create a very more flat pyramid. So I think I'm just going to go, I'm going to go high on mine. I think I like the idea of a steep pyramid. So from here I could just connect A, connect, this one didn't have a label, we'll say D, connect the D, and then I could go to B. And if my sun was shining in this direction, I'm going to add a little bit of a tone to this side of this pyramid. And now you can go back in and you want to probably erase some of these construction lines so they don't confuse you. All right, so that right there is a proper way to build a pyramid. All right, let's bring up another picture here. Let's bring up, let's do this teepee here. Okay, very, very similar. Let's go through this again. This is good repetition for us. So let's start with a point down here. We'll call this B. And let's kind of estimate where that other corner is going to be. It'll be C. And then this is going to be a little bit further out, a little bit further, I think. We'll call that A. Okay, so we have that. That's going in that direction. Let's taper this so we know that this is going to go in that direction. This is going in this direction. And from C, it's also going to taper or fan out. All right. And you don't have to make these things subtle. You don't have to be exaggerated when you fan these things out. All right. So there's the base of our teepee. Let's find the center of that. And let's extend a vertical line there. If I go too fast, someone please, in the comments, just say please slow down, but I think we're okay right now. Then we're going to extend this a little bit taller here. See how these extend out just a bit? And this one is also going to extend out. And then C, we're going to do the same thing with C. So let's add this open flap. Let's add this open flap to this side here. So we're gonna come down maybe like that, and I'm just guesstimating. Come down like this. Hold on while I get some more coffee here. Okay, so I want to show you something here before we finish this up. I want this, see this right here? That is the inside of the back edge, and that back edge is right here. Look at that. So we could see that. You might be able to see that in the flap that you're opening. So I'm going to darken in my line now. So there's one flap. There's the other. And I'm just going to give a slight S curve. A slight S curve over there. And then of course we'll put our sun in the same direction. So our sun is shining in this direction here. So this is going to have a tone. That's going to have a tone. And then the inside of our teepee is going to have a darker tone because there's no light, very little light that's getting on the inside of our teepee there. And then this side might have a slightly lighter tone. So let's get our three sides here. All right, if I do that, that means I'm going to darken this just a little bit. All right, I think we're going to move on here. And if, let's see, if you are signed up for the class, there is a PDF that you could download. I just uploaded that right before class that has all these photos, so you could check that out. Okay, let's go ahead and move on here. Let's look at, let's talk about this right here. Okay, another volume that is similar to a pyramid shape is a cone shape. But instead of having you know what, let's see if I have a different cone shape here. Nope. Before we do that, let me show you this. So our pyramid, what we've just gone over has a cube base, something like this. You've just drawn two of these things, so I'm just going fast, and I'll. Okay, so this starts off as a square shape that's in perspective. Well, of course, the cone starts off as an oval or a circle base. A circle that's in has been foreshortened, which is an oval. And if you remember from our lesson on drawing ovals, you need to draw a line that is the minor axis, and A needs to be reflective of B. So, you know, you don't want to draw your ovals like this. You see that? Because A, if I folded this over along this minor axis, those two wouldn't be reflective. If you do draw an oval like this, your minor axis has got to change its direction. A and B. I'm going to put a big Monday morning X right there. No good. So a cone, a cone will start off with an oval as its base. And you could just kind of, the center line is going to be where your minor axis is, and you're going to kind of guesstimate where the center is there. Extend a vertical, just like our pyramid. And then connect the sides, and there you have a cone shape. And this, if you draw an oval, it's wider. You could do that. And your cone is going to be, it could be any height you want, but the base is going to have a little bit more roundness to it. And what's happening is, essentially, it means like if this was the vertical line on the inside of that cone, the wider it gets, the more it points towards you. So let's see. I'm going to demonstrate that on the fly right now in front of you. All right, so here's a cone I quickly folded together. Okay, so the more the cone goes in your direction, here we'll do it like this. The more you see of your, the more you see of the roundness. See, as I turn the roundness towards you, the cone starts to point. You start to take more of a top view. You see what I mean? If you were flying in a drone and you flew toward the top of your cone, you would see more, the base would be more round. Where if you got more at eye level, your base is going to be more foreshortened. All right, let's look at a couple cones here. Let's start off with this one. We'll come back to that one here in just a second. Okay. Nope, cancel. Where am I? Look at this here. We've got two. You've got two cones on this lighting fixture. Let me move this over just a little bit. Okay, we've got two here. So, in this case, because I think that these both must line up, let's get a center line. Let's start off with a center line. Okay, so we're just going to, and I'm drawing from my elbow here, and I'm just pulling down my page, and that gives me a nice straight center line. And let's start off with this one on the bottom down here. So our eye level is actually below the bottom of that cone. And what we're looking for here, this is going to be our center line. We're going to put 2 marks to establish the edges of our cone. So let's put a mark there. Okay. And this is going to be our minor axis. So starting from right here, let's go ahead and draw our oval. And then you want to try and mirror it as close as you can. And the best way I've found over the years to do this is to really keep my wrist locked in and just draw from my elbow and move my whole forearm. Okay, that tends to keep these lines smoother. Okay, let's move up just a little bit here and get the top part of that cone. And we can connect this. And I'm turning my, look at this. You can, I'm going to turn my page for a second because I could get a straighter line if I pull across. So, and this is totally reasonable to do wherever you're drawing. Just spin your drawing pad or your sketchbook so that you can get that nice straight line. Let's draw the sphere down here on below. Okay. The light bulb down there, right? I put a little mark here to signify where the let me change the color here so you can see it. Kind of where the tip is going to be of the other cone. Now let's come up here. That's about my mark right there is where I'm thinking. And now I'm going to have to guess. If I look at this picture here, I'm like, all right, if that is, I'm going to guess my, well, you could do this 2 ways actually. If you look at the edge of right there, and you were to draw a line straight across, that's going to be the center point. So you could kind of guesstimate where the back end of that is. So how do we do that on our drawing? Well, I'm just going to estimate that distance right there. So I'm going to come down to about there. So I've got that mark, I've got that mark. Okay. So from there I'm going to draw my next small oval, trying to get those to be reflective across that minor axis. Then we can connect the edges here. And then let's erase this line back here so we don't get confused. And you could even erase this line here. This was just, the center line was only to help us get everything squared up and determine where the minor axis was in all of these ovals and cones. All right, so now we could just add a ring, and this is going to end up a little bit different than what the picture is, but I'm just going to do something like that because I didn't give it enough distance between those two, but yeah, that works great. And of course, if the light was coming in this direction, you know, this side might be a little bit shadowed, and since this is on a curved surface, I would recommend, I usually recommend stay away from gradations. It's just me, but if you put a even tone from here to here, and then right here where it comes in contact with the light, if you just darken this edge a little bit, you could create a very simplified reflective light, which gives the impression that something has a round surface. And the same thing for this down here. If we just come in here like this with an even tone, and then right here where it hits the edge, darken this up just a little bit, we can give the impression that that is also round by having that core shadow. This is, I think this is, if I remember right, that's called a core shadow. Okay, let's move on to our next picture. This is a good one here. See that? All right. Okay, so we have a pail, and this actually is it's kind of a combination of two masses, two volumes, of both. It's a combination of the cylinder, but it's also like a cone that the bottom has been, because it flares out, it's like a cone. The bottom has been, the cone part, the pointed part has been removed. So let's see how we do with this, okay? So once again, let's start off with a center line. because that center line is going to be the basis for us to, that's also going to be the minor axis and help us to get some nice reflective or clean ovals. So the next points along this I'm going to draw are where this, let me change the color there because that's a little, where this, the whitest point, the along the edges, right along there, along the minor axis, okay? So that looks pretty good, just like that. Now, if you wanted to, you could say to yourself, well, where's this edge here? And this would, you could kind of judge that distance if you wanted to. All right, and you could even say, oh, look, as I'm looking at this, it's almost maybe one, maybe two, a little bit more, 2.5 lengths. You see that? So I could come down here and go, okay, there's one length, there's two, and a little bit more. Okay, so that is about how the length of this curve is going to have to be. So let's come in here now. All right, and then I just want to get a nice reflection of that. Trying to get A to be reflective of B, right along that minor axis. Okay. Let's then determine, we could just guesstimate this distance right down here. You could almost use this as your measuring. So how many might that be? Almost a little bit more than 2.5. So we can kind of use that same proportion there. Okay, so there's the bottom of my pail. And I'm going to draw I'm not going to be totally accurate, but I just want to make sure that the bottom here circle is going to be narrower than the top one. So let's get this oval in like this, maybe. Like this. And one thing you want to make sure you do when you draw this, you want to make sure that let me point this out to you here. You want to make sure that I'm going to go red on this, that this distance right here, that minor axis is a little bit wider than up here. And we do that because, let me find out, let's just say this is our eye line or our horizon line. And just watch this, you don't have to draw this, but as our circle gets closer to the horizon line, it gets more foreshortened. As it gets further away, we start to see more of it, okay? The other idea is like, if I show you my coffee cup here, and then we started to look on top of it, you're gonna see it more round. You see that? So the same thing happens here. As the bottom of our pail is further below our eye level. Thus, we're going to see more of it, okay? All right. After I've confused you, that's awesome. Good morning. And then bring your edges in. Now we've got a nice taper going on. And let's what have I done here? Let's do this. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to erase this line here and this one. Now that I have my bottom of my pail looking good, I'm going to erase all of these red marks. Let's go ahead and get this band in, this band here. And again, it's also going to be, you know, you could draw it lightly, so you really get a sense of its roundness. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, there's my band. All right, let's get these pieces of wood, these slats of wood, so you could see. I'm just guesstimating these. Sometimes when I'm drawing objects like this, I'll try and be accurate with the most important things. But then as I start to get more into the details, I could kind of guesstimate where things are going. And you know, as long as the main core elements are accurate, they'll kind of frame up everything else. All right, so we've got this diamond shape here, right? All right, let's get this handle. This handle is a throwback to our cylinders here, right? So let's start off with we're going to get this handle, and we're going to get the center. It's almost like a wheel almost, because the center line is going to be just like this. You see that? So let's draw that in place up here. And that also acts as an axle. And if you remember from our oval lesson, the axle is always and also the minor axis. So on this, we can then draw our oval up here. And we want to make sure that A is reflective of B. So if it was going in this direction, see how those are, we want to make those two reflective. If it was going in this direction, same thing. We want to keep changing the orientation of our oval to make sure that those are always reflective. That is so important. That concept is just vital in so many aspects. All right, let's get our handle coming across. And then you can curve the back end. All right, let's make a curve now. And since we do see this back area here, since we do see this back area of the wood, let's add a couple slats in back here as well. And let's pretend like our sun is coming down from this direction. So that means that this side is going to have a tone. And then this side's going to have a tone because this is in the shadow. And also our handle is going to be in shadow because it's on this side of the light, you see? All right, let's add some surface lines to our handle, and they're going to be curved. This is going to really give a sense that this handle is round. Surface lines up here. And we can also add some surface lines to the metal band down here, and they can also serve as shading. So if I come in at an angle like this, because it's following the surface of the pail, and as I get more toward the center, they get more vertical. And then as I go back over here to the edge, I'm going to spread them out just a little bit. They're going to follow the surface of that band. You see that? And we could also add a band to the bottom as well. Same process. So this has a very cone shape to it. You see, if I was to draw a cone way over here, there's the top of my pail, and there's the bottom of it. Okay, let's get one more. I got one more drawing for us to do before we're done for our hour. Okay, back to a pyramid shape. Let's start off with a center line. Now this is interesting. This is interesting because the top part of that lamp is right at our eye level, so it's flat. We don't see the top of it, nor do we see the bottom of that shape. It is right at our eye level. And as the lamp, as we're looking down further on the lamp, you'll see that you start to see more and more of those pyramid base shapes. So let's start with a top here, and we're just gonna make a horizontal line. And then let's drop two marks like this. So there is the center. So we're just going to do that sort of thing. And then here's the other corner right there. You see that? So let's also add that. And this is just a guess. I'm going to do something like that. Okay, so let's just come, I'm going to come down and just kind of guesstimate about that line, right about in there. All right. Let's just kind of guesstimate that angle. You see that? And we're going to guesstimate this angle as well. And of course, this corner this needs to come up. Now we're starting to get into some perspective here. Those will connect. I'm just kind of filling in this knob up on top there. So let's come all the way down now. Let's come all the way down to the bottom, and what I want to draw is I want to kind of establish where these corner points are, okay? So this is going to have to start to head back to this. All of these are going to converge on the same vanishing point at some point in the distance. And then the same thing over here. This is going to converge And this guy is going to also have to converge to that same vanishing point. Actually, it's going to be out here. So that if this was A, this is going to be A. And this is going to be B. And this is going to be the letter C, so we can put that guy in. And you can see it's even at a... Look at my angle is not severe enough, I don't think. So, you see this? That's the angle I should be going for. So let me redraw mine, make that slight correction. You might have to do that, or you may have gotten that angle right the first time. All right, so then this is going to converge to that vanishing point. This is also going to, I don't know. I think I'm more like this, because I'm trying to get all of these. I'm not going to trust the picture because I've drawn my drawing slightly different than the different angle than the picture, and that will happen. So I say once you start to establish a direction of a picture of a drawing, you don't have to go back and make it exactly accurate to the picture. You just have to. You're using the picture as a basis to draw from, as a reference. Okay. Oh. Gosh. Oh, did I mess this one up? I really messed up this base. I'm sorry. See, listen, you could be drawing for years and you still make mistakes. So you never stop making mistakes, okay? Let's just do this because it is late. It is. We're on the top of the hour here, and I don't want to fix this base. Let me show you what I did wrong at least, and then maybe you can make yours a little accurate. If I put an X down here, I have shifted my base to be really off. It should have lined up with this right there, but I have, without thinking properly through this, I've shifted my base off to the left. So ultimately what would happen is we would have a very crooked lamp. And that just is not going to work. This center line should have ended up being in the center of my square. Okay? And so that was my error. I'm not going to fix it. I'm going to leave it. And if you would like to try and fix it, you are more than welcome to, and show it to me. Okay? Hey, listen. My name's Kurt. This is our 5th day of drawing back to basics, and today we looked at cones and pyramids. Wednesday, our next class session will be our last day of this class, and what I'm going to do is we're going to finish our stairs and take a look at stairs because those combine a lot of different things, and then I'm going to show you the combination of masses and volumes. This is going to help you draw a lot more organic shapes that are just as important as more of the mechanical shapes, mechanical volumes. Okay? Listen, thanks for watching. My name's Kurt. Sharon, thanks for tagging on, and I hope I didn't go too fast. I will see you guys later. Have a great day. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.